What do you want from life? What do you want from your leadership? What do you want from your AI? Um, there's a place that I Uber Eats from, and then I get it delivered here to the office, and I run it home into the day. There's a turn that they always make that adds like 10 minutes. So I watch the Uber Eats app and I see it go from 5:57 p.m. to 6:07 p.m. 10 minutes because they always make a wrong turn. And it's frustrating to me. And as the kids say these days, I start to crash out. I'm like, what the heck? It's adding 10 minutes. I know. This is ridiculous. What's even more ridiculous is as I start driving away from my office towards the route they actually take at the same time they take it, I realized this was last week, headed somewhere. All the traffic is backed up on this one turn from rush hour every day, every weekday. And the reason they were making that turn was because they're avoiding traffic. I'm getting frustrated that they're making a turn, and I don't realize they're actually doing the best thing they need to. What do you want out of life, out of leadership, out of your AI? I'll tell you what a lot of people want. They want the reducing of uncertainty. That's what I want. You know, waiting on things is a lot easier if I know when the waiting is going to end. When you're in a big part of life and you want to see a vision happen, there's something you want to see done in the world or accomplish, and it delays in coming to you. It's no fun. It's hard. And if there's no definition to that end point of that uncertainty, it's a big challenge. It could be a health crisis, right? There's a diagnosis and you're in between in the testing phase and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I don't think we realize how much uncertainty drives us. And what's going to happen, and this is the series we're focused on right now, is AI is going to explode that. Welcome to Lunch with Chris. I go live on YouTube at noon on Eastern. And so I've already had my lunch, had a smoothie, got a little coffee, maybe your West Coast breakfast. And what I do is I just break down an idea, teach on it for a bit, and then at the end do Q&A to what I'm talking about or anything you want to hit regarding the things that I know anything about, which is very few subjects. Feel free as I walk through this. You want to throw in things that resonate with you in the chat. Happy to see what's connecting with you the most. But at the end of the day, so much of what we do in life is try to figure out how to make peace with the uncertainty of it all. And we live in a world now that has abstracted itself so far away from uncertainty. I mean, it's a surreal, novel concept that someone can be paid a salary, weekly, monthly, whatever, and that's abstracted away from the agricultural cycle. Like used to be, crops come in, you hope you get rain, you hope those crops are good, you hope there's no pestilence ruining your plans, taking you into greater uncertainty. And before the agricultural revolution, you're talking about, I hope we get a successful hunt. I hope we don't come home empty-handed to our families, to the people we've got to take care of. And what I see happening right now with AI that's so powerful is it's such a validation machine. So the thesis of what I'm trying to put out as a message, and I feel an obligation to do this, is AI is not going to rescue us, it's going to reveal us. And one of the things that we want a lot of validation around, and the AI is just going to give you that sycophancy back as much as you want it. What we want a lot of validation around is the uncertainty being resolved. And so people are going to put things into AI that are complex and hard and difficult for them. And then they're going to get a reduction, a resolution instantly. And it's going to keep them from developing a skill they need to have as humans. So what we looked at last week was 97% of humans on the frontier models of AI, 97% of humans can't have a better conversation with me than my AI can. 97% of humans can't outwork my AI. And I have one that is routine-based, evolving. You could think about it as agentic, but it's more like a centralized intelligence. I mean, I have the receipts. I shifted away from a 30-hour-a-week assistant to fully supported by AI now. This morning I had an idea on something sitting in the sauna at 5:20 a.m. and I message audio dictate something to my AI, and boom, it's in my inbox in minutes. And this speed is huge, and it reduces the uncertainty. And what's going to happen for a lot of people is they're going to be interacting with this tool, and they're going to miss what the human brings to it. Like, what's the human for? Where does the human begin and end? Where does the AI begin and end? And this isn't just theoretical. We've baked this model that I'm sharing with you out from research and ancient wisdom, timeless wisdom. Because I had a moment in February where I pulled in the garage and I was seeing so much change. And I really paused and stopped and was like, okay, like, if AI does all this work so well, what is the human really for? And so that's what our model is anchoring in on. And last week I said the first thing is the human still imagines. I mean, there is no AI without the human imagining it. And AI will still do imaginings around a pattern recognition. And I'm seeing pretty profound things that mine imagines. But at the end of the day, the human capacity, and I frame it in a Greek term, Ginosco, it's experiential knowing, like deep grounded identity. When you know who you are, when you know where you end and begin and the AI ends and begins, and you could substitute AI with any tech advancement. When the printing press came out, right? I like thinking about the story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11. They made a brick. It was technology. When we put our hope into the technology, when we put our hope into anything that we think is going to rescue us, it doesn't. It just reveals our insecurities back to us. And so we have to hold ground as humans, secure in our identity. We're still exercising this human capacity to imagine. The second one today, what I want to talk to you about is phronesis, or a hard fought for wisdom. Phronesis as a term, this was Aristotle's take. This is the chief skill. It wasn't techne, which was like technical knowledge. It wasn't Sophia, which was a sense of like eternal truths for Aristotle. He framed it like this: Phronesis is hard fought for wisdom. You know the difference between the map and the actual territory, right? Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And those punches in the mouth that you take over time, the reps of living and deciding, that's what develops your hard fought for wisdom. People are using terms like taste and judgment. I like the word discern. It's our job as humans to put our name on a decision, to stake our name on a claim, and we are exercising discernment. Now, what I see that as the right move, the wrong move, we're about to watch a whole lot of the population make. I could express it in three ways. The first wrong move is going to be this. The group can think for me. The group can think for me. So when you think about like a committee, oftentimes a committee can take a sharp, innovative idea and smooth off all the rough edges, dumb the idea down to a standpoint of consensus so that the idea is ineffectual, and in a sense, it's really muted. It's not going to have the impact it could have. Groups dumb ideas down. Healthy, effective teams, a healthy marriage, a healthy business leadership team, whatever, someone is innovating something, and then the team can take the idea and cook it out and make it better and really fully form it. Committees tend to dumb it down. You know, if you're taking your cues and signals for how to discern from the crowd, you're not going to be the leader you are meant to be. Full stop. Like, life is giving you lots of situations that there isn't an easy binary choice. And because there isn't an easy binary choice, you're developing your discernment and wisdom for what needs to be done in the midst of this complexity where there are two truths on opposite sides. That is the way I would teach what wisdom really is. Wisdom is finding the way forward when there's opposing truths. And the crowd is not going to get you there. The crowd is going to hate you at moments and love you at moments. You can't index your discernment from the crowd. So the crowd is the wrong move. Second, the first move is the wrong move. What I mean is this: when uncertainty hits, and when you're in a place that you could develop discernment, the mistake a lot of people make is just to grab whatever is that first choice. They look at the binary of it and go, well, it's either this or this. I'll grab this. And what you do when you grab that first move is you don't allow yourself to find that creative third solution. So you're not developing your capacity to discern. And by not developing your capacity to discern, you're not getting a good rep, a development, a growth out of this moment. And it's going to be too easy for people. I mean, 3.9% of American households, something like that, pay for AI. So almost everyone's using the stupid version, the free version, which is dumb, 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 dumb. They're going to go to it for validation. They're going to go to it with complex situations. They're going to go to it when they have something that's uncertain. And that AI resolves it instantly. And so there's no pause. And because there's no pause, they're rushing into something where they're literally reducing reality down rather than upgrading their view of reality. They're reducing reality down into something that fits their already fixed ideology. And that, for me, is part of the moral obligation that I feel, the moral obligation to get this message out, because I can't depend on, no matter how good it gets, the AI to imagine for me or to discern what is wise for me. So the group is the wrong move. The first move is the wrong move. I look for that creative third solution. Third, fear is the wrong move. Fear is the wrong move. So when you're making a decision, and you're making that decision because you're afraid of a certain outcome, and you're trying to avoid that outcome with all your energy, and that is shaping the choice you're making, you actually end up self-sabotaging and seeing that occur. Let me illustrate it this way. If you're obsessed that your partner or spouse is going to betray you, and you start making all your relational decisions out of that, guess what ends up happening? You push them away and you invite a betrayal. I'm not saying all betrayals happen because you invited it. Don't read that in. If you're totally afraid that you're not going to be able to enjoy a lifelong adult relationship with your kids, then you're going to parent in a way out of that insecurity. Fear is the wrong move. You're not going to develop discernment when you're parenting them through different stages. And out of that fear, you make the wrong moves and you self-sabotage into a relationship that they have to get away from to feel like they stay whole. Team leadership. Teams go through phases. And as teams go through phases and you're grasping, I hope they don't leave me. I hope they like me. I hope they think I'm doing a good job, or forget them. They don't get what I'm doing anyway. Wherever you find yourself on that, when you make decisions for where you take the organization, for how you lead the team, for how you show up in a meeting, when you make those decisions from a place of fear, what ends up happening is you self-sabotage. You become your own worst enemy. You self-sabotage into this thing you're afraid of. And so fear is the wrong move. The crowd is the wrong move. The first move is the wrong move. Fear is the wrong move. Well, what's the right move? The right move is you're letting this complex situation that makes you feel uncertain not get you to focus on the crowd or the first move or what makes you afraid, but to settle in, go back to Ginosco. When your identity is secure, regardless of what you're going through, your mind is not scattered, it's focused. And there's something that aligns out of truth with who you are that you want. And then you're asking yourself, what is the wise way to get to that? What does discernment in me, what is growing and developing in me to make me wise to what the choice that I need to make looks like? Now, some people could hear what I'm saying and say, Chris doesn't think you should lean on others and endorses some kind of Lone Ranger leadership. No, I love the proverb that says there's wisdom in counsel, but it's who is around me that's so key, because they're going to take the innovation, the imaginings, the Ginosco last week, and make them better. They're going to help me discern. At the end of the day, it does come down to an individual having to make a choice. And out of that choice, the team helps make it better, but we're all growing our ability to discern. I mean, this is what makes a business valuable. A business develops not just a policy book of things that have gone wrong, but a real intelligence around the wisdom they have from all the reps they've gotten. They have discerned what is wise, and they're collecting all of this wisdom into repeatable systems that they can execute. It's what you do in your marriage. It's what you do as a family. So What do you want? What do you expect out of life and leadership? If you're wanting certainty, AI is going to be a quick hit to resolve what feels uncertain, and it will keep you from developing the phronesis, the wisdom that you need. Here's a few points of application that help me. One, to develop phronesis, I make the AI argue against me, not for me. So I don't want it to, in a sycophantic way, affirm my thinking. I don't want to hear great idea, great question, sharp thought. I want it to destroy my thinking. I want it to come against me. I want it to tear it down. I want it to see if it can poke holes, and as many holes as possible, so that I can develop phronesis, wisdom. Number two, you want to know the difference between a pause and a freeze. There are a lot of leaders who suffer because they freeze, they hide from key decisions. We see that. We shared that with you a few weeks ago. It's the only study that's ever been done on insecure leaders, and we have 1,000+ data points with people. And with our C-suite leaders, we've seen that they even have a greater tendency, but the dominant tendency is to hide, and even greater with C-suite leaders. There's a freeze that occurs. I'm not endorsing a freeze. I am saying if you've got a big decision, just wait 24 hours on it. Pause. If you can pause, you'll avoid indexing to the crowd, going for that first move, or letting fear shape your decision. Third, there's a lot of different ways I could say this, but the funnest way to say it is get your AI, train it, tell it to be oppositional. It needs to consistently audit your thinking. I mean, I'm going to have it built in now as a loop so that it stays recursive. Audit everything. Audit what you're doing. Triple check your work, but audit my thinking. Audit what I'm coming up with that I think is a good idea. I have 100 ideas in a day. 90 of them are bad. I used to say that all the time. And, 3 of them are pretty good and 7 of them are okay. I think and feel this to be true with AI. I would say that I'm down to 99.1. I mean, I get to that one good idea just because I've trained the tool to tear it apart, help me develop phronesis. That's my job as a human. 97% of what can be automated will be automated. Everything that can be automated will be automated, I should say. But 97% of work behind a computer is going to be automated. And the human difference is imagining Ginosco. And today I'm talking to you about discerning, wise, phronesis. We'll hit the third element next week. So as we land the plane here, where might you need to not freeze, but pause and develop phronesis? For those of you that hang around the SiteShift world, if you're in Columbus, Ohio, siteshift.com/Columbus. We've got an event coming up in July. I'd love to have you there. We're going to be looking at what it means to be as cunning and strategic as possible with AI, to use the tool well. So love to see you there. And the bigger news, we've shared this with you online through the email list, is I have a new book coming out on this in July, and really excited about it. The 3% Shift. What's the human for in the age of AI? So the subtitle is The Human Edge in the Age of AI. And I'm going to walk you through this in a very deep way. So please be aware of that. I want you to get a copy. I want you to be empowered with this information so you don't end up serving the tool, AI, but the tool or the technology serves you, which is always the goal. Thanks for being here at Lunch with Chris, and hope you have a great Wednesday. May we be the kind of leaders who appreciate the value of uncertainty, and we don't freak out or crash out over a 10-minute delay on our Uber delivery or the big, big stuff of life. We embrace the uncertainty because it's where we develop wisdom. Peace.